Welcome to Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Gallipolis.
It's the Bob Eastman Ball Field, where this evening it's going to be the Galia Academy Blue Devils taking on the visiting Megs Marauders. With me tonight is probably I call him the legendary. He's been the voice of the Megs Marauders for years. Rick Ash. Rick, thanks for joining me.
I come down to keep you straight, Bobby.
Somebody's got to.
So we got a Blue Devil and a Marauder on the coverage here tonight. I think that's pretty cool.
I couldn't think of a better person to come alongside tonight to begin the season.
It's going to be fun. It's kind of chilly and it's awful windy.
Well, I thank the fine folks from Total Sports Media for allowing us to do this tonight, something a little different that we've not done in the past, and so we're glad you joined us. Let's look at the lineups tonight. First of all, for the visiting Marauders, leading off will be their third baseman, Bryce Butcher. Hitting in the second hole position will be Addison Whitlock. He'll play second base. Jake Martin will hit third. He'll be the catcher for tonight. Braden Hawley will bat number 4, and he'll be the first baseman. Hitting fifth will be Brody Fackler. Brody will be the shortstop tonight. Isaiah Arms, pretty good player for the Marauders in the past. Isaiah Arms will play in right field. Hitting in the 7th hole will be Ashton Newsom. He'll play left field. Chase Dodson will be the center fielder. He'll hit 8th. And then batting in the 9th position, the designated hitter, and that'll be Lincoln Thomas. So again, for the Marauders, it'll be Butcher, Whitlatch, Martin, Hawley, Fackler, Arms, Newsom, Dodson, and Thomas.
And Bobby, I'd like to correct you on just one thing.
Oh.
Bryce the Butcher, the leadoff man, is the shortstop.
Okay.
And Brody Fackler is the third baseman.
You know, we talked about that before. It's tough to get those 5 and 6 positions there. So let's look at the Blue Devils for Galia Academy. Their leadoff hitter will be Tyler Young. He will bat in the number 1 position. Tyler Young. Beckett Camden will hit second for the Blue Devils, followed by Logan Drummond. Matthew Foster will bat in the cleanup spot. He'll be followed by Brady Conley. Logan Kennedy will hit in the 6th position, followed by Maddox Delaney, and then Nathan Shockey, and then Jackson Myers will hit in the number 9 position. As far as the Blue Devils around the horn goes, Reese Toller will be the catcher. It'll be Brady Conley at first base. Beckett Camden will play second. Logan Drummond will play shortstop, and Maddox Delaney will be the third baseman. Around the outfield, it's Young, Foster, and Myers left to right for the Blue Devils.
And for the Marauders on the infield, Brody Fackler at third, Bryce Butcher at short, Addison Whitlatch at second base, Braden Hawley at first base. Around the outfield we go, left to right, Ashton Newsom, Chase Dodson, Isaiah Arms. Behind the plate tonight, Jake Martin, and on the mound, number 11, Brady Davis.
Tell us what you know about Brady Davis, Rick. I'm not familiar with the Marauders, so tell us what we're looking at from the pitcher tonight.
Right, Brady is a senior, and Friday night we had Eastern Megs at Megs, and Brady played the entire game on the infield. So I believe this is just the Marauders' second game, unless they had a game over the weekend that I missed. They will be going for their first win of the season. And Galia Academy, I'm not sure. I think this is game number 1 tonight for them probably. And with all the rain that we've had.
They did play twice over the weekend.
Okay.
And they lost both of those games. Nathan Shockey will be on the hill for the Blue Devils. I failed to mention that. Toller behind the plate and Shockey on the mound. So, and Shockey is a veteran. He can also play the outfield, pretty decent center fielder, and from last year. So now tonight you're going to get a look at probably one of the better center fielders in the league, and that's Matthew Foster, who also can go in left field as well. Pretty good defensive center fielder. The Blue Devils they're really pretty good in the outfield. Young, Foster, and Myers, all three very, very good. The Blue Devils have struggled at the plate in the first couple games they played. They were okay with the gloves, but the offensive performance was not good, and they committed some opening errors like you would expect to see from a high school baseball team.
Meg's problem against Eastern there tonight was a lot of walks. I think they were double-figuring walks. I know one inning they walked a total of 6 batters, in one inning, and that is a recipe for disaster when you give those free passes. Bobby, you've called ball as long as I have. It's amazing that when you look at your scorecard, the number of walks and errors that the players reach on base, they normally score if they're on there with one out or less. It's an amazing stat.
Last year in a game against Ironton, Galia Academy was here and they had the lead. I think it was late in the game. It was probably either the sixth or seventh inning. The Blue Devils were up and they walked, I think, 7 consecutive batters. And like you said,
Wow.
3 or 4 of those runs scored. And so that's an error in pitching that you just can't make but you have that in high school. The Blue Devils have also got some good reserve, some good pitching on the hill from the Twins, the Champlin Twins. Both of them have pitched some, and both of them have played pretty well in the opening games. So the Blue Devils can come back with some pitching. They can also use Toller. They can also use Tyler Young, and they can also use Beckett Camden on the hill as well. So they've got some they've got some backup as far as the pitching goes. The lines, it's 310 down the left field and right field lines, 355 to the alleys, 370 to dead away center field. That's how the field is laid out here at the Bob Eastman Ball Field. And behind us is the softball field, and I want to say that next Monday I will be calling the Blue Angels softball game, and I'm looking forward to that. They play South Point here, and so it's going to be a great opportunity. Now, our position here to broadcast this game is down the left field line, right behind third base, and so it's going to be different for us, and so bear with us as we kind of get our bearings straight here for the television crew. But we are excited, and I'm happy that Total Media Sports is wanting to do this as far as putting games, keeping up with the next level of production and going with TV, and I think this is going to be great. Rick?
All right, we're going to take a break for the national anthem, and you'll hear from our title sponsor on Eastern Avenue. It's Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Gallia, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Gallia, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Gallia forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Okay, we're back, and we're ready to go as the teams have come out, and they are getting ready, and the Blue Devils are taking their final warm-up pitches, and we're about ready for some baseball action here.
Right for the Marauders and left at some feet.
Coach Brad Harris getting some pictures there of the Blue Devils right in front of us for Total Sports Media. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate that. We're having some technical difficulties there. We're live on the app for yeah.
YouTube. And now something. I just the Galia. You can just Google or just go to YouTube and type in Total Media Sports Galia Academy. And it should pop up. Give me a little more volume on my mic. And just put it up to me.
So Rick, we're having a little bit of feedback on your end. Are we
Bobby
okay?
now. Let me know, Bobby.
Yep. Okay. My mic seems to be
I
doing
can't hear
okay.
Bobby now. Okay, that's hard. Testing. Let me
Okay, so if you're joining us here,
that's Bobby.
Blue Devil, the Blue Devil ace,
Testing.
Shockey, Nathan Shockey is taking some warm-up pitches, and here's the throw down to second base, and so we should be ready to start, and we should be ready to play baseball here right away. We want to welcome all of you who are watching video, and this is a new adventure for all of us, and so. All right, Shockey ready? And Toller behind the plate. And stepping in for the Marauders is Bryce Butcher, the leadoff hitter. Ball one is, so there was a balk on the first pitch as Shockey was on the rubber and licked his hand. So that was called a ball. And so it's ball one. So the count is now 0-1. Here's the first pitch and a swing and a miss, so that evens the count at 1-1. Now we'll get the scoreboard straightened out here, so it'll be 1-1. We're having some technical difficulty with Rick's microphone. So it's 1-1. Here's the pitch from Shockey. Ground ball back to the mound. Shockey, he's going to do it himself, and 3 unassisted as Arms falls down about halfway up the line. So 3 unassisted for the first out. So 1 down. And that brings to the plate Addison Whitlatch. Whitlatch will be the second baseman for the Marauders. 1 out now. Shockey working from the stretch there. I think we're back now, Rick.
Testing one.
Yep. We're back.
I'm on 4 now. There we go.
Yep, that's good. Shockey.
There we go.
Yeah, we're back. So 1 out for the Marauders in their half of the first inning. Shockey working from the stretch. Whitlatch wears number 6, swing and a miss. Now the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What do we have there with
It was a
Butcher?
3 unassisted. He grounded back to the pitcher,
Okay.
and Shockey tagged him on his way to first. So here comes Shockey back with the offering. Fly ball. Popped up in the infield. Giving it a chase there is Maddox Delaney. He drops the baseball in fair territory, so that'll be an error on the third baseman. So an error on Delaney, and that will put Whitlatch aboard.
And Bobby, that wind really took that baseball a long way, as it looked like it was going to be about halfway down the third baseline. Ended up on the first base side of the pitcher's mound, I believe.
And thank you for mentioning that, Rick. There is a very stiff wind, and it's blowing straight in toward the plate. There won't be many home runs. Rick and I had the opportunity to swing and a miss by Jake Martin. I don't think this is Martin hitting. Oh, yeah, yes, it is.
Yes, it's Jake.
We had the opportunity to talk with the umpires before the game, and we were talking about that stiff wind blowing in from center field. There won't be many deep balls hit. There's a throw over to first base. Back in time is Whitlatch. So it's an 0-1 count. 1 out. Megs top of the first if you just joined us. Here's the pitch. There's another fly ball pop up. Giving chase will be Reese Toller, and he hauls it in. So that will be a fly out to Toller, and he was able to get that. But I think we learned a lesson, Rick, about the wind on that Whitlatch play.
The flag is blowing straight towards the softball outfield, and they're right towards softball first base, we'll say. So it's going to take a shot to get it into the outfield. Throw over to first base, nothing happening there.
Here's Braden Holly will stand in now as Shockey working from the stretch, taking a short lead over there is Whitlatch. Here's the pitch, and that's a strike. Holly, a big boy, wears number 29, plays first base for the Marauders. There's another lead over there by Whitlatch. Ball's grounded to third, foul. So foul ball. So that will make the count now no balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Marauder top of the first. Just underway here at the Bob Eastman Field. Pretty nice place to play a ball game, Rick.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility. I love the backdrop, the hill, the cattle, the Bradford pear trees. It's beautiful.
Back to action. Holly standing in, off-speed pitch. Bounce toward the dugout. Coach Harris will come out and grab that one.
It's a pitch right there, Bobby, that's not utilized enough. As you said, he took a lot off of a changeup, and it really fools the batters. It keeps them off balance. And you just don't see enough of those type of pitches anymore.
Shockey set to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball to third. There Delaney. He's going to go over to first. And he retires the side. So there's no damage done with the air. No runs by the Marauders. On no hits, there was 1 Galia Academy error. We played a half inning here at the Bob Eastman Field. Your score, Megs Marauders, nothing. And the Blue Devils coming to bat.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Gallia, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Gallia, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Gallia forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Gallipolis.
At the Bob Eastman Field, and Megs had 1 runner on in the first due to a Galia Academy error, but the Blue Devils took care of business and retired the order, so were the Blue Devils no damage done with that error. Coming up to bat for the Blue Devils in their half of the first will be Tyler Young, Beckett Camden, and Logan Drummond. So we'll see what they can master against Brady Davis.
Bob, we want to thank our sponsors. Our title sponsor, Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, they're on Eastern Avenue in Gallipolis. Ohio Valley Bank, Athens Sports Cycle, and HT Marketing. And Bob, you got a little bit of time to tell us about HT Marketing.
So HT Marketing is a small company that I own, and we do silk screening and embroidery. And so if you have a silk screening or embroidery need, and either business or personal, if you want to just give me a call sometime, and I'll be willing to talk to you and give you a price and a quote. And so I've enjoyed that business. I've been in it ever since the downtown fire of Haskins Tanner, and I just kind of stayed in and did a little bit of business. So
that's the HT.
That's the HT. That's exactly right. That's the
cool.
HT marketing services.
Do you do hats, Bobby?
I do hats. In fact, I think you were, yes, you were wearing one. Underneath, yeah, there we go. There we go.
Could you make me one like this up here? Look here on top.
Absolutely.
I'll place an order.
Absolutely. There we go.
HT Marketing in Gallipolis.
Yes, we can do that. That's a good idea. All right, in the bat is Tyler Young. Hits from the left side. Davis, high ball 2. So it's going to make the count 2 balls, 1 strike on Tyler Young. Davis set to deliver. Here comes the pitch. It's high, so that's going to run the count now to 2-1. Martin's throwback was a little high, but we're able to reel that in. A little bit of a traffic accident out 141 here, so you're going to hear maybe some sirens in the background. There's a fly ball. Short center or short left field, Brody Fackler will come over and make the catch. So Fackler hauls it in on a short fly ball to left field.
That would actually be Ashton Newsom in left field making the catch.
Oh, I was looking. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong. So, Rick, one thing I wanted to mention. Speaking of a cloudy day, this is kind of worse than a cloudy day.
Yeah.
It's heavy clouds, and when you're looking at a white baseball, and you have a very, very cloudy day like this, it makes it really tough on the outfielders.
Yeah, Bobby, really surprised at the infield though. It's an excellent shape for all that rain we had last night.
Here's another pop-up. It's going to be behind second base. Calling for it is Whitlatch, and he's going to haul it in. So 2 quick outs as Camden flies out to Whitlatch, the second baseman, and that's the second out. So that'll bring to the plate Logan Drummond.
Logan batting in the 3 spot with Matthew Foster in the cleanup spot to follow.
And he will bat from the right side. So, yeah, very, very thick clouds. And so it's very hard on the outfielders. You would almost rather have, though there's a line drive foul down the left field line. That was a rocket.
Bobby, this actually is not a bad position to call a ball game from.
You know, it's really not. You and I kind of talked when we first got here. We were kind of a little bit disappointed, but really you're close to the field and you're close to the playing surface, and you really can see. I kind of like this vantage point.
It's not bad at all.
Fly pop up down the right field line up in infield. First baseman backing up and making the catch, and that's Braden Holly. So Drummond flies out to Holly, and that's going to retire the Blue Devils 1-2-3. No runs on no hits. There were no Megs errors, and now we've played one complete here at the Bob Eastman Field, and your score is the Megs Marauders nothing and the Galia Academy Blue Devils nothing. We'll have second inning action when we come back.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galclis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galclis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galclis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Back at the Bob Eastman Field, and Rick, the Marauders will send to the plate Brody Fackler, Isaiah Arms, and Ashton Newsom here in their half of the second inning.
A good inning for the Marauders, getting out of it, just facing 3 batters, I believe. And that was not the case last Friday evening when they were defeated by the Eastern Eagles 11-0. So a confidence builder to get out of that first inning.
So the Marauders come away with a 1-2-3 inning, and really one of the better things about that was that Davis threw very few pitches, and you always like that if you're a pitching coach or a manager or a coach in high school. You always got to love the fact that you got by with 5 or 6 pitches, and man, that really helped your pitch count.
I tell you, Bobby, this early in the season, you probably won't see either pitcher, I wouldn't think, go over 4 or 5 innings. I think Eagles pitched their pitcher the other evening, Brady Rockhold, the 5 innings, but he didn't throw a whole lot of pitches. So we'll see how things go here tonight. Coach Martin and Coach Camden for the Blue Devils. That's a tough decision to make when things are going well. You leave them in there, take them out.
And last year, we did games last year. There's ball 1 from Shockey to Brody Fackler. Last year, we really watched that pitch count, and especially in high school. Here comes the 1-0 delivery. It's low and outside ball 2. So that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes now from Shockey. He was a little bit disappointed in that pitch on himself, not at the call. He was a little bit disappointed. He thought maybe he was going to hit the corner. Shockey back with the 0-2 delivery, or 2-0 delivery. That ball's swung and missed.
And that was a healthy cut there by Brody Fackler.
That was a real healthy cut. So So now we have 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Nobody out. Megs half of the second inning. And here comes that's going to even the count at 2-2 as Shockey was able to hit that outside corner.
I want to thank our plate umpire Rex Young for giving us great signals as we can't see the pitch from our position.
Here comes the pitch, high and inside, ball 3. So that's going to run the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We do have a good vantage point for the scoreboard. We can see the scoreboard just fine. And so here comes the 3-2 pitch and foul back to the screen.
We're here in the top of the second at Bob Eastman Field. No score in the ball game. Blue Devils and Marauders.
Good way to get the season started.
Yeah.
We always start the football season together, so why not start the baseball season together? This is more like football weather.
It sure is.
Into football weather, let's put it that way. Here comes the 3-2 delivery, and the ball is hit straight away between left and center field, and going over to make the catch there is Matthew Foster. Foster can move, and so he was shaded a little bit over to the left field line there, and chased that down.
I was telling you last year when I came in to do a ball game, I needed some help, and Matthew walked up to me and said, "Can I help you?" And he helped me get the stuff out of the table out of the building, get it set up, get my chairs, run some power cord for me, and so it was great to see young men do stuff like that for us older guys, Bobby.
Here's Isaiah Arms. First pitch attempted to bunt, fouled back to the screen, so no balls and 1 strike.
Isaiah Arms, a defensive back on the Marauder football team.
Very good defensive back, I might add. His mother is my dental hygienist here in Galia Police, and I get the straight scoop on the Marauder football.
There you go.
But he was real. It was 0-2 as that pitch was in for a strike, as Isaiah played a very good ball game against Galia Academy in that initial game last year. I believe he ran for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not.
I can't remember.
And he's hit by the pitch,
Yeah,
so
that hit
Shockey hit Arms on the thigh there, so that's going to put a base runner on base for the Marauders, and that's going to bring to the plate Ashton Newsom, the left fielder.
Chase Dotson on deck.
Newsom stands in wearing number 1. Here's the pitch from Shockey, outside, ball 1.
One thing about a game like this tonight, Bobby, on the way home, you always appreciate the heater in your vehicle.
Boy, you're not kidding. Arms taking a couple steps lead over there first. Here's a quick throw over by Shockey. Back in times, Arms head first, waving for time over there.
Yeah, you'll see if Coach Martin sends it, because it'd be a good chance to test out your catcher's arm with this wind blowing the way it is.
Here comes the pitch, and he lays down the bunt right in front of the plate. Good pickup and a throw down. Good pickup by Reese Toller, and he throws to Conley. So they get the batter. They get Ashton Newsom 2-3 if you're scoring with us for the second out of the inning, and that's going to move Arms to second base. He was off on the pitch. And a very, very good bunt. It was laid down.
And Reese Toller did a great job, Bobby.
He did.
He made that look easy, and it's not that easy to do what he just did. He picked that bunt up and fired it over to Conley at first.
It laid dead right in front of the plate. Perfect bunt, and you want to deaden those bunts, and he did that, and Toller came out and fired down first. And here stepping in is Chase Dodson. Dodson, first pitch is a strike. Here comes the second pitch. Swing popped up behind the screen. So now Shockey ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Shockey's dad, the CFO for the Ohio Valley Bank there in Galia Police. Here comes the pitch. And it's outside and away. Ball 1. So now we have a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Shockey also a member of the Blue Devil football team. A kicker for the Blue Devils. Here comes the 1-ball, 2-strike count. High and away, ball 2. So now that's going to even the count, 2-2. And the wind is still blowing in, shifting a little bit over toward right field, but still blowing straight in. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. So that's going to be as a strikeout for Shockey, and that's going to retire the Marauders once again. No harm done by the hit batsman. So we've played now an inning and a half, and your score, Megs nothing, Galia Academy nothing. When we return, we'll have the Blue Devils' second inning as you're listening to high school baseball on Total Sports Media.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galclis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galclis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galclis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Okay, we're back now. Total Sports Media. I'll get it right.
Total Media Sports.
I'll get it
Total
right.
Media
Second time,
Sports.
third time you strike out.
Just look
Says
over.
Total Media Sports. I ought to be able to read that right off of there anyway. Total Media Sports. Yeah, it's even on the hats.
With us tonight is our engineer tonight here at the table is Corbin Wilbur, and we've got Shelby White on the camera, the infield camera, and also our assistant sports director for Total Media Sports, Delanoy, are with us here tonight. So
Shelby does a good job running the football games in the fall. I work with her. She's usually a board op there in the fall. She does a good job. Here's a throw down now. Coach Camden now has gone to the toboggan look. So we're
that's why I got mine on.
bottom of second. We're at the bottom of the second.
Yep.
So, bottom of the second. Yeah, Coach Camden had a hat on in the first inning, and Coach Harris is supporting the hat over there at first base. But now Coach Camden has gone to gloves and a toboggan. So we're going to winter wear now.
And no score in the ball game.
And no score in the ball game. For the Blue Devils, it's going to be Foster, Conley, and Kenny for the Blue Devils in their half of the second inning.
4, 5, and 6. No score in the ball game.
Stepping in is Matthew Foster, hits in the cleanup position. It was in a 1-2-3 inning for Brady Davis in their half of the first. Ball one from Davis. Foster, where's number 34? Ground ball, foul ball. Coach,
I'd like to mention that Brady Davis, the next pitcher tonight, was part of our basketball team, which won 22 ball games this year. And we're real happy about that.
Well, you should be. That's quite an accomplishment for the Marauder basketball team. Here comes the pitch, and it's a strike. So that's going to be a strikeout caught looking for Foster. So Brady Davis with his first strikeout of the game. That's going to be the first out of the second inning for the Blue Devils, and that'll bring to the plate Brady Conley. Conley hits from the right side. Davis. Here comes the first offering from Davis. Foul ball back to the screen. We enjoy doing these games, especially watching video. You're actually watching the action, so that's a little bit tougher on us as announcers, I guess, Rick.
We don't have to say everything like radio.
That's exactly right. No balls, one strike. Here comes the second pitch, and that's going to be strike two. So Davis is on a roll. He struck out Foster, and now he's ahead in the count to Conley, 0-2. No balls, two strikes, one out. Blue Devil half of the second. Here comes the 0-2 offering, and that's fouled off into the Megs dugout, just above the Megs dugout.
And Bobby, unlike radio, the folks watching here on YouTube can see the score.
They can.
Yes.
And they can see the action, and they can know how we're calling the game. Here comes the 0-2 delivery. That's down in the dirt and gets to the backstop screen. So that's going to make the count now 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Blue Devils have done some work on the field this past winter and early in the spring. They've been putting some seed down, and they've been working hard to kind of get some growth in here. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So the second consecutive strikeout by Davis, and that's going to be the second out for the Blue Devils. or for the Marauders rather, for the Blue Devils, and that's going to bring Logan Kennedy to the plate. Kennedy, it's in the 7 spot. So Davis is on a roll here, Rick.
He's showing that he can throw some strikes and throwing pretty good speed, actually.
That's low and inside ball 1. So 1 ball and no strikes to Logan Kennedy. Here comes the 0-1, or the 1-0 offering, rather. And that ball is
That's going to give
way
the
sky
shortstop some trouble with the wind.
And making the catch there is Butcher, and he hauls it in. So that's going to be the second consecutive 1-2-3 inning as a fly out to Butcher. So the Blue Devils go 1-2-3 in the second. We've now played 2 complete here at the Bob Eastman Field, and your score, Megs nothing, Galia Academy nothing. Third inning action when we return.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galclis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galclis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galclis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Bob Hood along with Rick Ash back here and with Total Media Sports. We're going to bring you the third inning here. And for the Marauders, it's going to be Lincoln Thomas, who is the DH. And then top of the order will be Bryce Butcher and Addison Whitlatch. So, Rick, somebody's got to get some offense going here.
Well, Megs with 2 base runners, and that was an error on the third baseman for Galia Academy. And then hit by pitch was Isaiah Arms, and the only 2 runners. And I don't think we have had a hit in the ball game yet.
We have not. Both teams, goose eggs everywhere, 0-0-0-0 on the scoreboard. So they're just there's no runs, no hits, and no errors for both teams. There is 1 error for Galia Academy. They had an error in the first inning, but it's all zeros, and we're deadlocked there in the second inning. So top of the third now, we're going to have the DH for the Marauders, and that would be Lincoln Thomas.
I remember back in the day, I don't know if the metal bats do this. When I played, they were wooden bats, but on a day like today, you hit one off the end of the bat, and you get what you called bumblebees.
Yeah, my days were wooden bats too, so that kind of dates us there, Rick.
Yeah, it takes us back.
It does. It takes us back to the good old days of the wooden bats. And they actually have a wooden bat game that they play out to Chillicothe.
Paint Stadium?
Yes, in Paint Stadium. And they've done some renovation. There's a swing and a miss there by Thomas. So that's going to even the count at 1-1. I read in the paper this morning, I was reading an article in the paper that they're doing some renovations to that stadium, to the VA stadium, and putting some new turf down. And they're really kind of making some improvements.
What I like about that is they're playing the district teams there. At least my coverage teams all play there. Meigs, Eastern, Southern. Just makes it great.
So turning around, attempting to bunt was Thomas. He pulled back. Ball was low. I believe it was called a ball. Yes, it was.
Yeah, all the way to the backstop. Just kind of, I guess you'd rule that a wild pitch.
So
Coach Martin out talking to his 10-hole hitter, Lincoln Thomas. And so we'll see if we possibly could see a bunt right here.
Thomas hits a designated hitter for Davis, the pitcher. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and he missed inside. So
third baseman, is that Delaney at third base?
Yes, it is.
Okay, he's playing now, backing behind the bag than the last pitch. But
here comes the offering, 3-1. That's on the corner, 3-2. And Thomas kind of leaned away, wanting the inside ball call, but he didn't get that. He got a strike on the inside corner. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, counts full. Here comes Shockey with the delivery. And that is strike 3. No, ball 4. Nope, strike 3.
Strike 3.
Strike. I thought he said strike 3.
Back-to-back strikeouts by Shockey. And that's his first 2 strikeouts of the ball game, I believe. Or did I miss one?
Nope, it is.
Okay.
So now that brings Bryce Butcher to the plate. Butcher, the first time, that was the play that when you were getting your new microphone, that was the play that
Yeah,
he
I
hit
missed
right in front of the third base or
I
the
missed
first
some things
the
while I
pitcher.
was getting
No, you were good.
repaired.
That ball bounced to the plate, and so that's going to be ball one. So Butcher ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out here in the Megs third. If you just joined us, no score. Here comes the 1-0 offering. That ball is smacked to straightaway center field up over the shortstop. And Drummond tried to haul it in, but it was over his glove. Good hard hit single. Really, that's kind of the first really hit.
Yeah.
A good hit that we've had in the game.
That Galia Academy had a foul ball hit hard here down the third base line.
They did.
And that's the second one, but that was between the lines for a base hit. And Bryce Butcher with the base hit, he had one of the 2 hits Friday night against Eastern Megs.
So Butcher aboard on a single. Then he's off and running, and the throw is going to be high. And so Butcher will be in with a stolen base. So you mentioned it, the last inning about testing the arm of Reese Toller. And Toller came out okay. He's a very tall catcher. And he came out okay, got the throw off, but it was a high throw. And Beckett Camden hauled it in, but it was not close. And so Butcher in with a stolen base. So Butcher now the runner on second base. And the count to Whitlatch is 0-1. There's a pop-up, and that's going to be hauled in by Beckett Camden. So that'll be the second out, and Butcher will remain at second. So Whitlatch flies out to Camden, the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring to the plate Jake Martin. What do we got?
I'm just giving motions to Dylan.
Oh, you got all. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. So we got a runner on second now, and that's Butcher. So here comes the first pitch to Jake Martin. Martin reached in the first. He was the second out, as he was the one that hit him, I believe. So that's going to be the second.
Hit by pitch.
Yeah, it was the second hit batsman, so that's going to put him on board. So Martin goes to first, and he'll be the second runner of the inning. That's going to bring Braden Holly to the plate.
Now, Braden right here is a very good hitter, Bobby. And when he's hitting balls in the strike zone and his wheelhouse, he's got some power also, of course, tonight with all the wind. But he does have the ability to hit the ball very sharply and very hard at times.
He grounded out to Logan Drummond the last trip up. So he stands in, no score. He stands in with 2 men on base. And Shockey turning around and looking towards center field. Coach Martin is positioning his runners, making sure that everybody is aware. Everybody knows how many outs there are. Everybody knows where everybody is. Coach Martin has eye contact with his runner at second. There's
There it is.
and that's like what you said, right up to center field. And he's going to score.
We got a closer than I thought play at home.
Yeah, it was a great throw out there by Matthew Foster. But scoring on the play is going to be Butcher. So Butcher scores from second base in the first run of the game.
But Bobby, by throwing home like that, not hitting your cutoff man, you can see what happened. Allowed the runners to advance from first to third, and also Holly advanced to second base on the throw.
So Holly gets an RBI in the first Megs run, first run of the game. There's a strike to Brody Fackler.
And Brody had the other hit that we mentioned Friday night against Eastern.
Fackler standing in with 2 men in scoring position for the Marauders. There's an off-speed pitch, missed. That's going to even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 1 runner in, 2 on board. As Fackler has an opportunity to widen this lead. Shockey from the stretch. There's an off-speed pitch. Caught the corner. So that's going to make it 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
It's really a good pitch there by Shockey. on the outside part of the plate and knee high. That is tough on any hitter.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the delivery. The ball swung on. It's hit again in center field, and Foster drops the ball in center field. That's gonna score 2 runs, and it's gonna be a double for Fackler on. I call that an error, but again, it could be wind.
That was definitely an error. Right in his glove.
Matthew Foster, I was just bragging about him earlier in the broadcast, dropped the fly ball, and Coach Davis had him off and running, and scoring on the play is Martin and Holly both. So that's going to give the Marauders 3 runs. So it's going to be 3-0 now in favor of the Marauders. And into the plate now stands Isaiah Arms. Arms was hit by a pitch in the last inning. And Megs now has jumped out to a 3-0 lead in a game that was 0-0. Here comes the pitch to Arms, grounded foul. Coach Davis missed that down there. Tried to catch it barehanded. That's tough on a day like today to catch it barehanded.
2 of the Megs players, Jake Martin, Addison Whitlatch, in my calculus class at the high school. And we were talking this morning about the game Friday night. We only had a couple hits, and 17 inches wide's the plate, and you got to swing at strikes, and that's what they're doing here tonight.
Low in the dirt, and coming over to third base is Fackler. So Fackler goes to third. So the Marauders have scored on 3 hits. So have I got that right, or just 2?
I just have 2.
Okay, 2 hits.
I gave an error on the ball hit by Fackler.
Okay, so 2 hits, 3 runs on 2 hits so far.
But we do want to say the ball that wasn't caught in center field was hit very, very hard by Fackler, and you still have this wind being a factor also on the balls.
So 2 balls and 1 strike.
Bobby, however you would want to score that, I don't think anyone would argue about it. It was a tough play for Matthew out there, running to his left and the wind blowing that way.
I kind of agree with you. Swing and a miss there by Arms. So that's going to even the count there at 2-2. So the Marauders now have 3 runs on 2 hits. They have a runner in scoring position on third base, and that was Fackler. Here comes the pitch to Arms, fly ball, and going to be in short right field. Going out and making the catch is going to be Logan Drummond. So Drummond goes out into short right field and hauls that in to prevent another Megs run. So the Marauders come up with 3 runs on 2 hits. There was 1 runner left on base, and we've now played 2.5. And your score, Megs 3 and the Blue Devils, nothing.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Gallia, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Gallia, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Gallia forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
And the wind is keeping us shuffling our papers here.
That's a tough thing about doing outdoor sports like baseball is you never realize what the wind is doing until you start trying to call a high school baseball game, and you find out that the wind blows every game, it doesn't stop, and it lasts for the entire season. You rarely see a ball game where there's no wind.
Yeah, that's you were right about that.
And then when it's a 40 out to begin with, and your wind chill factor puts it in the 30s, that's what it feels like here tonight anyway.
And one of the umpires was telling us they have game tomorrow, I believe, early in the morning, maybe.
No, that's our senior league golf.
Oh, okay.
So if you're 50 or over, we'd like to invite you over to Riverside Golf Course in Mason and join us.
And it's going to be 40 degrees in the morning.
Yeah, but they'll warm up.
Okay.
And there'll be about 60, 70 golfers there, actually.
And that's a beautiful place to play golf. So stepping in for the Blue Devils will be Maddox Delaney. It will be Delaney followed by Shockey, and then Jackson Myers in the Blue Devil half of the third. There's a swing and a miss by Brady Davis, from Brady Davis. So Davis on third inning for him, and he's been really almost flawless. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be high. It's going to even the count at 1-1. So he's had 3 innings.
Yeah, he's only faced the 6 batters, hasn't he?
So that's the minimum. Here comes the pitch from Davis. That ball is popped up, and it's going to be
Chase Dotson with the catch in center field. Bobby, you
short
talked
center.
about Matthew Foster being a great center fielder. There's one for the Marauders. Seen him make a ton of big catches last year. Got good speed, and he really reacts to the ball off the bat very, very quickly, and he made that one look easy.
Stepping in is Shockey. The infielders are playing in a little bit, and you would expect that with the wind the way it is. It's popped up, and second baseman and first baseman are both calling for that, and calling him off is Braden Hawley at first base. So Shockey flies out to the first baseman, so that's going to be the second out of the inning. So now stepping in will be Jackson Myers, and Myers is the right fielder for the Blue Devils. Where's number 22? And as I mentioned, you would expect on a day like today when the wind is blowing in, you would expect the outfielders to be playing in, and they are. Dotson is shaded just a tad bit over toward the left field line. Davis, first pitch to Myers, inside ball 1. Want to know the count as Coach Camden has switched up the outfits again. Now he's got the jacket on with the hooded jacket. So we're going to.
He'll have a bear skin on him next inning.
Here comes ground ball to third, and making the throw is Fackler. Fackler to Hawley, and that's going to retire the Blue Devils again in 1-2-3 fashion. So for the Blue Devils, no runs, no hits, no one left on base. And we've now played 3 complete here at the Bob Eastman Field, and your score is the Megs Marauders 3 and the Galia Academy Blue Devils nothing. When we return, we'll have 4th inning action as you're listening to Galia Academy Baseball right here on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galclis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galclis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galclis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Cash back for fourth inning action. And speaking of inside, I was thinking more basketball. 4th inning action here at the Bob Eastman ball field in a well-designed complex out here. Speaking of that, the Blue Devils working on their total complex that will include in future date a football facility.
And what is the new building down here be?
That's going to be our clinic, the sports clinic.
Oh, cool.
And so we are going to add a sports clinic that where there'll be for athletes and also for the general public. So for the Marauders here in the 4th, it's going to be Newsom, Chase Dotson, followed by Lincoln Thomas, as the 2 coaches are conferring there along the third base line. And I don't know, Coach, maybe Coach Camden will be taught a lesson there by Coach Davis, but we'll see.
I think Coach Martin will say, "Hey, why are you wearing that hood?"
Yeah.
You got to be tougher than
That's
that.
exactly right. Coach Martin probably says, "Do I have to wear one of those hoods?" As Coach Camden changing his look every inning. There's a ball high from Shockey, so that's going to be ball 1 to Ashton Newsom. 1 ball, no strikes. We're in the 4th. The Marauders lead at 3-0. There's the 1-0 pitch, and that's high, ball 2. So now the count is 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes. Shockey set. Here comes the 2-0 delivery. Outside ball 3. So Shockey missed on 3 consecutive pitches, so it's now 3-0. First time to the plate. Newsom put down that bunt and was thrown out. Toller to Conley.
I believe he walked him, didn't he, Bobby?
Yes, he did. So walked on 4 straight pitches.
We want to thank some of our sponsors, HT Marketing here in Galia, please. Stop in and give Bobby a call. Athens Sports Cycle and Ohio Valley Bank, and our title sponsor, Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Eastern Avenue here in Galia, please.
Shockey behind the mound now. What have we got? A pinch hitter? Rick, I think we're going to have a pinch hitter there for Chase Dotson. As we got a new.
I've got the numbers. If you can pick the number for me, I'll tell you who it is.
Well, he's coming out of the dugout now, and
that is number 20, Mason Qualls.
Mason Qualls becomes the hitter in Chase Dotson's spot. So it's Mason Qualls. And we'll see where Qualls goes into play. If he'll go in, does he usually play in center field, or where will he go?
I'm just going to make a guess that not sure. Chase Dotson is our center fielder, so I wouldn't think he would come out of the ball game. So I'm just thinking this is going to be a pinch hit here for Mason, and that may be it. Of course, everybody has a re-entry.
Yep, that's correct.
So if he I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb, not too far out though, that Mason will pinch hit here. Chase to go back to center field.
Shockey threw over to first. Here comes the pitch inside, ball 1. So Shockey behind in the count, 0-1 to Mason Qualls. Qualls hitting in the spot of Chase Dodson. Shockey looks over at first base, throw over to first base, back in time. Base runner over there is Ashton Newsom. Newsom aboard at 4 straight balls. The count now is 1-0, so Shockey has thrown 5 straight pitches out of the strike zone. Here comes the offering, and that's a strike on the outside corner. So now the count's going to be 1-1. Still nobody out. Megs half of the 4th. They lead 3-0. Here comes the 1-1 delivery. Is Shockey low. Nice stop there by Reese Toller. Toller's a very versatile player. The Blue Devils are missing a catcher. They've had some good catchers in the history of Blue Devil baseball, and Toller has moved. This is his first year in the catching position. Here's a ball that's hit short center. It might. Coming in making a play there is Matthew Foster trying to get ball. They throw over.
Throws the ball to first base.
Yeah, the ball got over by the Megs dugout. Foster attempted to throw the ball to Conley, and the ball got past Conley on a hop and it stopped just short of the Megs dugout.
Well, on the short fly ball to center field, which Matthew Foster made a great catch on, Ashton Newsom, first base, was about halfway. And when Matthew looked up, he saw where Ashton was, tried to get the force out at first base, and overthrew it, and Newsom's out second.
Ball's high. Now at the plate is Lincoln Thomas. Thomas has struck out in his first time at the plate. That led off the 3rd inning in which the Marauders, that was the first out in which the Marauders scored 3 runs. Toller gets the ball back to Shockey. Count now is 2 balls, no strikes. Shockey has struggled a little bit in this inning with control. Shockey to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Inside, ball 3.
One of our sponsors, I'll have Valley Bank, Athens Sports Cycle, HT Marketing here in Galia, please. and our title sponsor, Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Eastern Avenue here in the old French City.
Here comes a 3-0 pitch, and it's going to be inside, and that's going to be a walk for Thomas. So Thomas aboard on a base on balls. So that's the second base on balls of the inning. And that's going to bring to the plate top of the order Bryce Butcher.
And with runners at first and second, Coach Camden's going to go out and talk with Nathan Shockey. And we do just have one out, Bobby, according to the board out there. Yep, one out. That fly out to by Qualls to Matthew Foster. And
Camden, that was a short visit. I'm not sure exactly. Coach Camden is coming back to the dugout, but
maybe talking about how to pitch Butcher. Butcher had a hit his last time up. He also hit I think he had a 3 unassisted his first at bat, but did have a nice base hit in his last at bat and had a stolen base. So with runners at first and second, I think Coach Camden is wanting his infielders to know exactly what he wants them to do.
And so it's going to be Butcher stepping in. Cole Hines was the catcher last year. Cole's going on to play at the next level, and he was a tough catcher. And as I mentioned before, Toller was all over the place, played some outfield, pitched, and now has gone to the catching position. And Toller does a good job of running the whole field. As you can see now, he's kind of directing some of his players. He moved Matthew Foster over just a little bit in center field, and he was moving his right fielder, Jackson Myers, back a couple of steps. So stepping into the plate is now the leadoff hitter, Bryce Butcher. Butcher hits the ball into short left field. It's going to take a hop, and coming on the throw of the plate, and it's a good throw to the plate, again, by Tyler Young, but it's not enough, as that's going to score a run, as Lincoln Thomas is going to score, and that's going to make the lead now 4-0 on a long single there by Bryce Butcher.
Very hard hit ball, Bobby, and he's he's got 2 hits tonight. He had a hit the other evening, I think, in just 3 at bats.
So Newsom scores, moves Thomas to second base, and that's going to, and the Marauders add a run, so we're now 4-0. There's a ball that's hit by the third baseman, and that's down the left field line, and wisely stopping at third base. And boy, that was Lincoln Thomas stopped there at third base, and that was a good decision there by the coach to hold him up, because charging there was Young, and Tyler Young, we saw his arm, and he that would have been an out.
Been an easy out at home. So great job there by Coach Pat Martin, getting Lincoln Thomas stopped there at third base. Bases are loaded with 1 out.
So we have Thomas at third, and we have Butcher there at second, and we have Addison Whitlatch. Is that correct? Over at first?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, Addison Whitlatch with that last hit.
So the bases are full of Marauders.
And we're in the meat of the order, 3, 4, and 5, and Martin, Holly, and Factor, 3 very good hitters.
Martin scored one of the Marauder runs in the third inning. Here comes the pitch. And ball's smacked to left center and over to make the catch. It's going to be Tyler Young, but it's deep enough that it's going to advance the runners. So scoring on the play will be Lincoln Thomas, as Whitlatch will remain at first, Whitlatch will remain at first, and Butcher will come over to third. So a long fly ball by Martin that gets an RBI, and that's not a bad.
I tell you what, Bobby, on a normal evening without the wind, that ball might have had a chance to get to the fence, but a nice play out there by Tyler Young.
That ball was corked, and that's not a bad out by the Marauders. They score a run, and now they're ahead 5-0, and the Blue Devils just the way that the game is going so far, as Davis is just mowing them down 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be this is going to be comfortable for the Marauders soon. Running in and making a diving catch.
Oh, what a catch.
There is Tyler Young, made the catch, and the umpire signals out. So it was a short fly ball into shallow left field and Tyler Young was playing a little deep, and he was coming full speed and made a sliding catch. Very nice catch.
Major league catch right there.
Yeah, that was a sliding catch, and there by Tyler Young to save another run. And so for the Marauders, they get 2 runs in this inning on one hit, and there was 2 runners left on base. Two hits.
Butcher and Whitlatch.
So we've played now 3.5, and your score after 3.5, Megs 5 and the Blue Devils nothing. And you're listening to Blue Devil Baseball right here on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Gallia, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Gallia, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Gallia forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpalis.
Bob Hood, along with Rick Ash, back here at the Bob Eastman Field for the Blue Devil 4th. And the Blue Devils looking to generate some bats here in their half of the 4th. And as you surmised, Dodson did remain in the game. That was a good call there by you, Rick. That was a re-entry, as we mentioned. And so Dodson's still in the game in center field. And the Blue Devils will have the top of the lineup, and hopefully many more are coming to bat in their half of the 4th. It'll be Tyler Young, Beckett Camden, and Logan Drummond.
Brody Davis right now has only faced 9 batters, Bobby. So we go back to the top of the order with Young, Camden, and Drummond.
So here comes Tyler Young, the left fielder, who made a spectacular catch in the last half of the inning to save another Blue Devil.
He saved a run, yes.
Saved another Marauder run. Could have easily been 6-0. And on a great play by the outfielder there. That's outside ball 1 from Davis, who's had a stellar game so far as he has faced the minimum 9, 3 up, 3 down in 3 particular innings. So it's nine batters faced. There's a ball 2. So now we're at 2-0. Davis behind in the account. And like you mentioned, a good spot to watch a baseball game from. Here comes the 2-0 delivery, and that's inside, high and inside, ball 3. So it's now 3 balls and no strikes. And I thought when I first got the position here, I thought maybe we'd have a little bit of problem seeing the plate, but we really don't.
There's nothing wrong with this at all.
No, really, I can see everything that happens from a good vantage point. So now it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Tyler Young. In fact, actually, it's a little bit better than behind the plate.
It actually
Swinging
is.
late and getting a base hit to left field was Young, who that's the first hit for the Blue Devils, and right down the left field line. So that's going to be the first hit for the Blue Devils, and Tyler Young is aboard.
Beckett Camden on deck and Logan Drummond to follow.
And Beckett has a brother, and his name is Maddox. 2 professional baseball names.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Beckett and Maddox,
Yeah.
named after 2 outstanding Major League Baseball players. There's a bunt right out in front of third base. Back to fielding it and throwing to first is Davis. So a good bunt there by Beckett. And he is thrown out by Brady Davis over to Braden Hawley.
A nice play there by Brady Davis to field that bunt and get the ball to Hawley at first base. It was relatively a close play at first. So good hustle there by Camden.
And it was a good play to get Tyler Young over into scoring position. So Young moves to scoring position, and that brings to the plate Logan Drummond. Drummond takes a called strike.
Bobby, I think right now the Blue Devils just trying to get a run on the board and then go from there.
Here comes Drummond now. No balls, one strike, one out. Blue Devil half of the fourth. Here comes from the stretch, Davis delivering. The ball right up the middle. That's a base hit. And waving him home is Tyler Young, and he is going to score the first Blue Devil run on a base hit by Logan Drummond. So a nice hit by Drummond and an RBI, and that's going to score Tyler Young. And really, in all honesty, Rick, that's why you do those move your runner to second base. Right there is a classic play of a bunt that moved a runner to second base, and the Blue Devils playing good fundamental baseball right there, getting the runner to second base and then scoring him on a one-out single.
Well, you were down 5-0, and they needed something, and they got it.
I would not be surprised right here to see Drummond take off as well. Foster takes inside ball one. Again, trying to get that runner over into scoring position. Now you're down 4. It's 5-1. But you got to remember that you're running out of time.
Yeah,
you're in the fourth.
I doubt if he would risk the steal attempt. Still down 4 runs. And, of course, they've got there's one out, so they got 3 2/3 to go.
You're on the
plenty of innings left for the Blue Devils.
Foster ahead in the count, one ball, no strikes. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And the ball is laced to right field, down the right field line, foul. Foster hit the ball well. He got that little sting in his hand that you were talking about earlier. He was coming back down the line, rubbing his hand, so he got that little sting that you talked about. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Coach Camden making sure that the scoreboard is right. Here comes a pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2.
A nice curveball there by Brady Davis. That one fell off the table, Bobby.
Megs wearing their crimson red uniforms with the gold lettering, white pants. As you can see, the Blue Devils in their home whites. That's a off-speed pitch that just missed. Davis thought he had it, and now that's going to.
Here's some of the Megs fans back behind the backstop.
They also thought he had it.
They thought he had it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count even on Matthew Foster, the Blue Devil center fielder. To the belt, Davis. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Davis swings, foul ball. Fouled off down to the Blue Devil dugout. Picking up the ball is Brady Conley.
5-1 Marauders, but Galia Academy got something brewing here in the bottom of the fourth. 1 run in, and a man on first, 1 out.
The Blue Devils have picked up an additional, there's a ball hit foul down the third baseline. Blue Devils have picked up an additional alternate jersey that they wear occasionally, and it's really a sharp royal blue and gray color. I saw it last week for the first time.
Really neat.
With a gray hat. There's a ball, gets to the backstop, and going to second base is going to be Foster, so rather Drummond. So Drummond goes over to second via a wild pitch, and you haven't seen that tonight. That's the first wild pitch.
Yeah, Davis struggling a little bit here in this inning, and Blue Devils with run number 2 out there,
as Shockey did in the previous half. So Davis now coming to the belt. Count is 2-2. That's a strike 3, and that's only 2 outs.
Well,
Brady Davis thought that.
Brady was heading to the dugout. That was a strikeout, but that's now the second out.
Brady Davis thought it was a 3rd out, and he was running he was celebrating. So that will bring now to the plate Brady Conley.
3rd strikeout of the ball game for Brady Davis.
As Matthew Foster now standing at second base. Conley takes a strike. So no balls, 1 strike. Conley struck out in the second inning. Here comes the pitch from Davis. Inside, ball 1.
Breaking pitch, just missed.
So that's going to even the count at 1-1. As Foster aboard at second base. And that's going to be a strike. I No, outside ball two. Ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike. I thought he actually called it a strike. My bad. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brady Conley. Drumming aboard. Davis set to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Ball is grounded to second base. There for the pickup and the throw on is Whitlatch. And that's going to retire Conley, and that's going to retire the Blue Devils. So Conley retired from Whitlatch to Holly. That's going to retire the Devils in their half of the fourth. And they pick up one run. So the Blue Devils do pick up a run. Tyler Young scoring. They pick up a run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and the Blue Devils left 1. So now we've played 4 complete, and your score, Megs 5 and the Blue Devils 1. When we come back, we'll have 5th inning action. You're listening to Blue Devil Baseball on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Gallia, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Gallia, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Gallia forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Along with Rick Ash back at the Bob Eastman Field, where Megs will be coming to bat in their top half of the 5th. They lead in this one by a score of 5-1. And Rick, we always have to be kind of careful right here that we don't get a high overthrow of the outfield.
I never thought that, Bobby. We are in a dangerous position here.
We're sitting down the left field line, and the left fielder is making some throws in between the innings, and I just happen to think, man, a high throw here, and we're going to be toast. Oh, well.
We're going to have some good reflexes, Bobby.
Yeah, now he throws the ball into the dugout, so we're good. It's going to be Brody Fackler, Isaiah Arms, and Ashton Newsom in the Marauder half of the 5th as they lead in this one 5-1. And apparently the Blue Devils are going to get some activity here, and we're going to see two players as somebody's headed down to the bullpen. So
Shockey in his 5th inning of work. And it's early in the season. It's very, very cold. So we may not see either pitcher go the full route. We'll see.
Heath Champlin is headed down to start warming up, and I believe that's Heath. So we'll see what the plans are there. As here comes Shockey. Pop-up, mile-high pop-up. Giving chase is Toller over near the Megs dugout and actually landing in the dugout.
If not for the wind, that would have been an out and a great catch there.
That was really a high pop-up. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to the Megs
Brody Fackler.
Shortstop. And,
third baseman?
Third baseman, yes.
Brody Fackler. He hit that hard line drive out to Foster in the 3rd inning. Hit the ball very, very hard.
And he's also played a pretty good third base, actually, for the Marauders. That's a hot corner there. Here comes the pitch. And that ball is hit to shallow right field and playing in the wind, and making the catch was Jackson Myers. Thought he was going to lose it there at the end, as Myers was struggling with the wind as well. So the Fackler flies out to Jackson Myers, the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring to the plate Isaiah Arms. Arms, the right fielder.
Hit by a pitch, reached, ended up at second base, and he is 0 for 2. Or, I'm sorry, 0 for 1 officially.
Arms stepping in. And swing and a miss, strike 1. As
You mentioned football season, Bobby. It's not that far away, actually.
It is not, and I was telling my secretary today at the chamber, it's amazing that we're now at the end of March and we've had one quarter of 2025 in the books. That's just amazing. Time flies on, and like you said, football will be here before you know it. So the count is 1-1 to Isaiah Arms. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That ball is stroked to left center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. So base hit there for Isaiah Arms. And coming over to make the pickup was Foster, but it was shallow. Good hit there by Arms, and that's going to bring Ashton Newsom to the plate. Newsom 0 for 1 with a base on balls. Getting the signals from his third base coach. Arms taking a short lead there over at first. Set to the belt, Shockey. Here comes the delivery. Arms is off and running, and he's going to get a stolen base, as Toller did not throw down.
I believe that's 5 hits now for the Marauders.
And Newsom missed a signal. I don't know if that was a hit and run, but Newsom missed a signal. So it's no balls, 1 strike to count now. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. That ball is going to be hit to second base, and making the play there is going to be Beckett Camden on the little short slap to hit there. So
I think it was off the end of the bat, and it looked like the way Camden reacted, they had a lot of spin on it. Had that hit the ground, it probably would have spun right towards first base.
You know, going back, and we've talked about this today, but going back to the weather conditions, when the weather's like this, you get a lot of weird things happening in fly balls and spins and things like that. Champlin makes his way in front of us here. So
this is Chase Dotson back. Remember, in the last inning, he was pinch hit for in the 4th.
There's a rope down the left field line. That's going to be a base hit. That's going to score a run, and the ball's going to die out in short left field. And so a single there for Dotson, an RBI, and he singled into short left field, a nice hit. And that's going to score Arms, and that's going to make it a 6-1 game in favor of the Marauders.
Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, but Marauders no hits in the first 2 innings, but 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and now 2 here in the 5th, I believe.
That is correct. You are correct. So some hits tonight coming off the Marauder bats.
And have some very hard outs.
To the belt is Shockey, a very short lead over there. Dodson with a short lead. He's going to go. Ball's grounded to second base, and there, I think it's going to be a base hit because Beckett Camden was going over to cover second base as the runner was taking off. So Thomas hit the ball kind of not very hard.
Nice running hit, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, he didn't hit the ball very hard, but he hit it in a good spot.
Dotson stealing, so that took Camden towards second base, and by the time he got back in the hole, he fielded it. It had been beaten out for another base hit.
So a infield single there for Lincoln Thomas. There's a ball hit into left field, and that's going to be caught there by Tyler Young. So that's going to be the 3rd out as Bryce Butcher hit the ball hard, but he hit the ball right to the left fielder, and Young hauls it in. So that's going to be the 3rd out of the inning, but Megs does score another run on a couple of hits, and there was 1 runner left on base. Now we've played 4.5, and your score, Megs 6, the Blue Devils 1. We'll return. You'll hear the Blue Devils half of the 5th inning as you're listening to Blue Devil Baseball on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galplis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galplis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galplis for you.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Rick Ash back for the Blue Devil half of the 5th. And coming to the, or I'm sorry, yeah, for the Blue Devils have the 5th, and coming to bat for the Blue Devils is going to be Logan Kinney, Maddox Delaney, and Nathan Shockey. We haven't heard much tonight from Kinney, as he is, as we know, we all know about the DH and how the DH works. But Kinney actually hits for Shockey. So the reason that you haven't heard much about Logan Kinney is he is in that DH spot, and of course
Yes.
sometimes you don't hear a lot about that player when they're not playing in the game. So.
But he's at the plate right now. The DH popped out to Bryce Butcher, shortstop, in his first at bat back in the 2nd. So batting for his 2nd time here in the 5th. Megs leads it by a score of 6-1, and we'll turn it back to Bobby.
Thank you very much. And that's fouled out of play. So we're going to. It's going to be no balls and 1 strike in the Blue Devils half of the 5th. Galia Academy hoping for more. Kinney, Delaney, Shockey, and then hopefully more. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's swinging fouled off in front of the Blue Devil dugout as well, so that's going to make the count now 0-2. Weather like this, though, it's tough on the muscles. As we've talked a little bit about you got to be really careful when you're in baseball like this. That you're idle and you stand around, and especially for a DH, there takes outside ball 1.
I thought you were talking about us standing here in the bleachers.
Well, that too, but for a DH batter who only bats, they don't get any kind of activity, and it's cold and you're sitting, and so there's the pitch, and that ball's hit to left field, and that's going to be caught.
Wow.
And playing shallow was Ashton Newsom. And he came up with a catch that was down on the ground.
I
nice
just
catch.
noticed how shallow he's playing.
He was playing.
That's
yes.
normally a base hit 99 out of 100 times in a normal ball game, but Ashton Newsom playing really, really short. I'd say he's no deeper than 200 feet, and he was in the right spot at the right time.
And he backhanded that. It was a low sinking hit. And he made a backhanded stab there. Very fine play there by the left fielder of the Marauders. Outside ball one to Maddox Delaney. So that ball was hit pretty well, actually, by Kinney. And making a nice catch on the play was Ashton Newsom. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's a strike. That's going to even the count at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Thank you for joining us and allowing us to bring you live video coverage, which is a little different. There's an off-speed pitch, missed for a ball, so that's going to be
Bobby and I, old
strike.
radio guys, have to get used to the visual too.
That's right.
We don't have to quite say quite as much.
I'll be watching you next game. 2 balls, 1 strike. There's an off-speed pitch, high and outside, ball 3. So that's going to run the count to 3-1.
Our next game in the Meigs County area will be on April 14th when Wahama invades Southern High School. That'll be a great bowl game, guarantee you.
And next Monday, we'll be covering. Here's a pop-up.
You got a softball game coming up here at the Blue Angels.
We do. South Point, and I'm excited to call the Blue Devils softball team is doing really well. And I'm excited to see the girls in action. Winston Saunders and I are going to call that game next Monday, a week from today, here at the Bob Eastman Complex. And so looking forward to seeing the Blue Angels. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and that's low and outside, and that'll be a walk. So Maddox Delaney aboard on a base on ball, so the Blue Devils have a runner in their half of the 5th. And that brings to the plate Nathan Shockey, the pitcher. And now we're going to change baseballs as Davis wanted a new baseball. So he throws that into his catcher, Martin. And Jake hands it to the official, and we're ready to continue on. Here is the pitch, the first pitch to Shockey. And that's outside ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes.
Umpires tonight, Rex Young behind the plate. He's my golfing buddy. One of the reasons I come down, not only because you invited me, Bobby, but I wanted to visit with my golfing buddy, Rex Young, behind the plate.
There's a throw over to first, and that's close.
And I believe, I may get this wrong, but I got the last name right. I believe it's Jared Malone on the bases.
And that's a Yeah, that was a pretty close call there.
And they've done a nice job here tonight.
Maddox Delaney taking the lead off of first. Here comes the pitch. That's low and outside. So now the count is 2 balls and no strikes. The advantage point that we have is that we see the scoreboard, and the Blue Devils do a real good job of running that clock. The Blue Devils, some of the reserve players are on that scoreboard. There's a pitch that's a strike, called strike, so that's going to be now even the count at 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I'm glad that you kind of texted me this morning. I'm glad I could invite you down to the belt. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. And Shockey hits that to short right field and drifting over and dropping the ball. That's going to be, I think,
Going to get a force out at second. Yep.
So dropping the baseball was Isaiah Arms, but quickly picking it up and getting it out at second base as Delaney had started over, and they're going to have a pinch runner. The Blue Devils are going to have a pinch runner here.
So everything's the same as it would have been. Runner on first base.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 outs.
Shockey goes to first on an error to the right fielder.
And pinch runner number, see, I can't tell what the number is. Got a pinch runner at first. Or probably for the pitcher, so a courtesy runner. It looks like a 10, but I couldn't.
It won't be 10, I don't think, but we'll see. It might be, well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll get that number for you.
We'll see here.
Here in just a second.
Taking a short lead. Here comes and batting for the Blue Devils is Jackson Myers. Myers bounces it to third on 2 hops. Picking it up there is Fackler on over to Holly, and that's going to retire the batter.
Here comes our courtesy runner right here, number either 12 or 13. 13.
Yeah, the courtesy runner there would be Jake Allison, and he is forced. Well, he's not forced. He was the courtesy runner, but anyway, Jackson Myers is out. Fackler to Holly. So no runs for the Blue Devils, no hits, and 1 runner left on base. And now we've played 5 complete. Your score: Megs 6 and the Blue Devils 1. You're listening to Blue Devil Baseball on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galclis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galclis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galclis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Bob Hood along with Rick Ash back at the Bob Eastman ball field. And we have a new pitcher on for the Blue Devils, and that's going to be Heath Champlin. And Heath Champlin and his twin brother David Champlin both have been throwing this season. David plays in the outfield some, but Heath Heath will play second base on occasion. Both of them have pitched early in the season, and both have shown good control early in the season. So Heath Champlin becomes the Blue Devil pitcher, relieving Shockey.
We want to thank our sponsors, Ohio Valley Bank, with a lot of convenient locations around our area, Athens Sports Cycle, HT Marketing here in Gallipolis, Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is our title sponsor. And Bobby, you got a couple seconds here. Tell us about HT Marketing again.
HT Marketing, thank you very much, Rick. HT Marketing, that's the company that I own, and we do some silk screening and some embroidery work, and we'll do everything from ball caps to sweatshirts to T-shirts to whatever you want to put an embroidery on or logo on your company's logo. We'll do that for you. And I just did some towels, some sports towels for a business in Gallipolis. So whatever your need is, if you want a logo, a business logo put on it, we'll do it for you.
And I'm going to place an order right after we are off the air.
200 hats. I got you down.
200, wow.
Well, maybe a few less. Maybe not 199 less than that. But I appreciate all of the good customers out there And that HT does stand for, it's an old name. And the name actually came from my dad. My mother would always ask my dad every day how things were at HT, meaning Haskins Tanner. Every day when my dad and I would come home for lunch working at Haskins Tanner, my mom, that was her first comment, was always, well, how's things at HT? And meaning Haskins Tanner.
And that was a men's shop, right?
That was a men's shop. And so I just chose that name when I struck up my company. Counts now 0-2 as Champlin has thrown 2 strikes to Addison Whitlatch, the first hitter for the Marauders in their half of the 6th.
I believe a fire ended that business, Bobby, years
That's
ago.
correct. That's correct. Champlin is tall, throws from the right side. And
I don't know when did that company start. We'll go back in time some. Haskins and Tanner's men's shop.
1866 was when we formed under the Haskins Davis name, and then it became Haskins Tanner a few years later. But 1866 was when we went into business. There's a ground ball to shortstop, picked up there by Drummond on over to first. That's going to be the first out for the Marauders. Drummond over to Brady Conley.
I can remember that name, Bobby, growing up and back in the 60s and 70s. You must have done a good job marketing it, because me up here in Meigs County, I knew about Haskins Tanner's men's shop in Gallia, and I was just a young feller.
Many people got their start when they got your start in scouts. You came. We had scout uniforms and things like that. So a lot of people even today will tell me something about purchasing their first scout equipment. We had everything there for the scouts. First pitch from Champlin to Jake Martin is outside, ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 delivery, and that gets to the backstop.
I don't know if you remember. You were at Clothing House in Pomeroy. Kermit Walton was the owner.
Yeah, sure.
And that's where we got all of our Boy Scout stuff at a men's clothing store.
There was a couple of different clothing stores there in Meigs County, and Kermit had one.
Cash Bar and Middleport was one, as we go way back now.
Yep. Here comes the 2-0 delivery from Champlin, and that's outside, ball 3. So 3-0 now to Jake Martin. 3 balls, no strikes, as the Marauders are on the top of a 6-1 lead here in the 6th inning. There's a strike.
One thing I like to do, Bobby, is I get out old yearbooks and I go to the back and look at the people that were sponsors of the yearbook, to look at those old businesses from back in the 50s and 60s.
Here comes the pitch, and that's going to be on the corner, strike 2. So that's going to make the count now 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the Meigs half of the 6th. Comes a 3-2 pitch. That ball's bounced past Champlin and into center field. Champlin tried to field it, but it goes into center field, so that's going to be a hit for Martin, and he's going to be aboard for the 2nd time this evening.
Meg's 8th hit of the ball game.
And that's going to bring Braden Holly to the plate.
And Brody Fackler on deck.
Yeah, I'll get it right.
It's 29 and 26. It is confusing.
It's my reading. It's the way I read, I guess. So Braden Holly will stand in now. Holly plays first base for the Marauders. Done a great job over there tonight. Especially in high school, that first base position is very key. I was talking to former Galia Academy baseball coach Jim Osborne last week. There's a pitch, ball, and throw down to second, and got him.
They did
so
get him, didn't they?
Nice
Yes,
place
they did.
from Toller, and coming over to cover there was the second baseman for the Blue Devils. Then that was Beckett Camden.
And that was a pinch runner, or a courtesy runner. That was Adam Pierce, who was running as a courtesy runner for the catcher, Jake Martin, thrown out at second base.
He is thrown out 2-4 if you're scoring along with us. And this would be Braden Holly now, and that pitch is a strike, so it's going to be no balls, 2 strikes.
I thought at the beginning, Bobby, that Pierce was going to beat the throw, but Toller right threw a frozen rope there, and the tag, it was a perfect throw. Anything left, right, or up or down, they wouldn't have got him.
There's a line drive to center field, and that's going to be a base hit. So a base hit for Hawley, and that's going to put him aboard. And with his size, I don't think he's going to steal any bases. But unless they pinch run, again, they could do that, courtesy runner. You know, I say a lot during a ball game, in case you're scoring with us. I do that in basketball, I do that in baseball. You know, one of the things that I loved to do when I was growing up as a kid, and I guess I go back beyond the years of Marty Brenneman. I go back to Al Michaels and Joe Nuxall, and even before Al Michaels and Joe Nuxall. But I would take my score sheet and I would score the Cincinnati Reds games, and I would lay on my bed.
I've done that
as a 6 and 7 year old kid. I'd lay on my bed and I'd listen to the Reds, and I'd be on a score sheet, and I learned baseball that way. And I learned when the announcer would say 4-3 or 6-5 or 6-4-3 double play, or I learned those combinations, and I went on to teach a class on baseball and how to score and how to and I just learned that. So periodically throughout a game, here's a pitch from Champlin, gets to the dirt, and that's going to send Hawley over to second base. But periodically throughout a game, I will say something like, in case you're scoring with us, that's 6-3 unassisted or whatever. And it takes me back to the days when I used to do that.
I always enjoyed listening to baseball on the radio, just something about it that just caught my fancy.
And even now, I will often mute the TV and listen to a game on the radio. Here comes a pitch from Champlin. That's outside. It's going to run the count now to 3-0.
I think one thing I'm going to do next year with the Buckeyes is going to turn them down and turn on Paul Keels.
I like Paul Keels. He does a great job for the Buckeyes. And you can catch him on 6-10. Here comes the pitch. That's a swing and a miss. And so that now runs the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. And so often at night I will mute the TV and turn on the radio. And I really try to find Rick Ash on there, but ground ball to third, and a nice stretch over there.
He got
at
it
first.
back. Yes, he got his foot back on.
Nice stretch by Conley, and the Megs coach is going to disagree there, but now they're going to decide whether or not he scored.
Well, now home plate umpire is going to go out. Yep, and I agree with the call. I thought he got his foot back on.
So he did. He was out. So that's going to be a nice play.
And a good job because the base umpire was in what we call the C position, and he's looking directly at the bag from about the shortstop area, and he did release the call to home plate, and Rex Young was right on it and got the call correct. It was out.
The funny thing is that the Blue Devils had left the field already, so you would have had to bring them back on. But that good call there by Rex Young and good call by the umpires to get it right.
Yeah.
And let's take nothing away from the stretch over there at first base. If you were watching, you saw Brady Conley over there at first base.
He did. Excellent job.
The throw there from Drummond was a little bit wide, and going all over on the right field side of the base was Conley. So,
and not easy to stretch in this weather either.
Not easy to stretch. No, we got time for a commercial. We got time for a break. Do we? Yeah, let's take a break. We'll be back. We'll tell you what happens in the home half of the sixth. You're listening to Blue Devil Baseball right here on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galplis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galplis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galplis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Bob Hood along with Rick Ash back at the Bob Eastman ball field, and I got so excited, Rick, I forgot to take a break.
We were going to take our break, didn't
I really did. I got so excited about that play And all of a sudden, I'm thinking we should be at a commercial break. Tyler Young stepping in for the Blue Devils. That's fouled up our
That's
way.
coming our way.
And coming over and making the catch there in foul territory was Brody Fackler. So good catch there by Fackler, and that's going to retire Tyler Young. So it's going to be the first out for the Blue Devils in their half of the sixth. Beckett Camden now steps in.
I tell you, Bobby, we are getting close to the seventh inning, aren't we? This is the bottom of the sixth.
And it's not a
one out.
seventh inning stretch. It's a seventh inning go home in high school baseball. Yeah, the Blue Devils just 5 outs away now from this game being complete. So, and when I took my headsets off, I didn't realize how much cooler it had gotten, even just since the game started.
It's cold.
It's really chilly. And I'm very fortunate to have a coat on that has a lining in it, so I'm not too cold, but the wind, you can hear the wind rattling behind us.
I changed to a heavier jacket right before I left home.
I'm glad you did.
I brought my gloves, so that's helping too.
You can hear the wind rattling as the wind is coming in from center field. So we're at 3 balls, no strikes. Now the count to Beckett Camden. Here comes a 3-0 pitch, and that's going to be ball. Oh, that's
called that a strike. Yeah.
Yep. Camden.
Brady Davis is going to go the distance, Bobby.
Yes, he is, and he's pitched a phenomenal game, really, giving up just 1 run. So 3 balls, 1 strike, the count to Camden.
And just 2 hits.
Here comes a 3-1 delivery, and that's a strike. So now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Beckett Camden, the Blue Devils' second baseman tonight. Camden can pitch. He can also play a few other positions. Here comes the pitch, and that ball's roped down the left field line, foul up over the hitting building. Galia Academy fortunate enough here to have in their on their fields a hitting building and a pitching building and a hitting building. Blue Devils used, and that ball was roped down the left field line. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the Blue Devil half of the sixth. And that's going to be a base on balls. And so Davis gives up a base on balls, which is unconventional of him tonight, as he's been right on the plate. That brings to the plate Logan Drummond. Drummond, who plays shortstop for the Blue Devils. 1 out. And Camden at first base. Throw over to first. Camden back in time.
We want to thank our engineer tonight, Corbin Wilbur, who is going to invest in a jacket right as soon as this is over. And Shelby White on one of our cameras, and our assistant sports director here helping out Dylan Oliver.
There goes Camden, and it was a bunt. Tap ball goes into center field, and Beckett isn't going anywhere. I think that was, I thought it was a called strike.
1-0, I heard somebody say.
Okay, so it's
1 ball, no strikes.
nothing on the clock, or nothing on the scoreboard. So
I just heard the base umpire say
2-0,
Oh,
2-0,
2-0,
2-0,
okay.
2-0.
Corrects
Yeah,
us all.
they were correcting that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. So it's 2 balls, no strikes to Drummond, and he attempted to bunt, or it looked like. Here comes the 2-0 pitch, and that's going to be a strike. So now 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Bobby
Ball
down
Drummond.
6-1. Galia Academy's really got to get something going here in this inning if they can, with 1 out and a runner at second base.
Here we go. Davis to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Fouled out of play. Sometimes the wind, you have to. I kind of had to grab onto the chain link fence here, right in front a couple times, as the wind is so strong. It's kind of rocking us on these bleachers. So here comes now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shelby returns now, coatless. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here to Logan Drummond. to the belt. Davis set to deliver. Here comes the pitch. And he kind of punched it back to the mound. And they're going to make a attempted throw over to get Camden, but he's going to go ahead and advance to third.
Now, Davis had a chance there to look the runner back into second, and he did not. Made sure he got the out, though.
So
But that does advance Camden to third base now with 2 out, and the Blue Devils trailing the Marauders 6-1.
So Drummond hits into a 1-3 out, and then Hawley attempted to make a play over there at third, but Camden got to third in time. That would have been a killer for the Blue Devils to get a double play there and go out of the inning. Matthew Foster stepping in. Here comes the pitch. That's a strike. No balls and 1 strike to count to the Blue Devil center fielder.
I don't know if I'm going to get up in the morning and go golfing or not in the senior league. I may change my mind after tonight.
Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Davis to the belt, and that's inside, ball 1. So 1 now, count now 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. The Blue Devils hitting in their half of the 6th, trailing in this one 6-1. Davis to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Ball's popped up, and it's going to be out of play and giving chase over there.
I believe Holly caught that.
He did catch it. Holly caught it right at the dugout, and so that's going to retire Foster, and that's going to retire the Blue Devils here in the 6th. So the Blue Devils score no runs. They do get a base on ball. They leave 1. So we've now played 6 complete innings, and your score after 6 is Megs 6 and the Blue Devils 1. We'll have 7th inning action when we return as you're listening to Blue Devil Baseball on Total Media Sports.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Galplis, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Galplis, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Galplis forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Bob Hood, along with Rick Ash, back at the Bob H. Eastman ball field, where the Blue Devils are trailing in this one 6-1. Megs will be hitting in the top half of the 7th, and for the Marauders, it'll be Arms and Newsom and Dodson coming to the plate. And in relief, in his 2nd inning of relief, is Heath Champlin. And Champlin replaced Brady Davis, Champlin replaced Shockey on the hill for the Blue Devils.
Bobby, each of the next 3 hitters for the Marauders, Arms has been on with a base hit and also hit by a pitch. Newsom was walked and scored a run, and then Chase Dodson a hit in the 5th inning.
So that was the story on Nathan Shockey. He went 5 complete innings, and he was responsible for all 6 of the Megs runs. And Champlin came on and worked the 6th. So 5 full innings for Shockey in the starting role. So up to the bat is Isaiah Arms, and here comes Champlin, and he's set to deliver, and that's a swing and a miss. Strike 1 there to Arms, the Megs right fielder. Had a good game tonight. Like you said, he's been on base, and that's key. Sometimes in baseball, it doesn't matter how you get on base, and for Arms, it's been a hit by a pitch.
And a base hit.
And a base hit.
Done twice.
So he's been on twice out of 3 times it hits. So now the count is 0-2 to Arms. Here comes the 0-2 delivery. And that's outside, ball 1. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the count on Arms. He wears number 8. Here comes the 1-2 offering from Champlin, and that ball is popped up to second base. And going out on the outfield grass and making the catch is Beckett Camden. So Arms flies out to Camden, and that's the first out of the 7th inning for the Marauders. And that brings to the plate Ashton Newsom. Newsom is 0 for 2 plus a base on ball. In the second inning, he was out catcher to first base. He put down that little bunt that Reese Toller threw him out at first base. And then over in the 5th inning, he flied out to Camden. So here steps in Ashton Newsom. Newsom, the left fielder for the Marauders tonight. Here comes the pitch from Champlin, and that's outside ball 1. So that's going to be 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike from Heath Champlin. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So now that's 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Champlin has done a good job in the times that he's appeared. He's appeared, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think this is his 3rd appearance. And all 3 times he has thrown strikes. And there's a foul ball, I believe. I thought it was a swing and a miss, but it looks like a foul ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Newsom. And really, I was talking to Coach Brad Harris the other night, and really, especially in high school baseball, if you just throw strikes and you have a good defense behind you, you can become a very effective pitcher. You're not going to overpower like the major leagues. You're not going to throw 100 miles an hour. So you can't really overpower. And so if you just throw some strikes, and if you have a good defense behind you, which is what has happened several times, here comes the pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. So Champlin with a strikeout. And so you'll become, especially in high school, you become a very effective pitcher if you will just throw strikes. And you and I talked about that earlier in the beginning of the game, how that if you throw a lot of base on balls, you can really get behind real fast.
I know in the first 3 innings Friday, Megs had, I believe, 9 walks, 6 in 1 inning, 3 in the other. And you just can't do that. Free passes will kill you.
Inside to Chase Dodson.
And throw in 3 or 4 errors, and
you're behind.
You've given up 11 runs.
That's exactly right. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Dodson. Heath Champlin in his 2nd inning of work. And that's off the plate, ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes delivered from Heath Champlin, the freshman. Here comes the pitch, and that's again off the plate, 3-0.
Hey, Bob, you're right. Champlin, really a nice live arm for a freshman. He's just going to get faster and faster as he gets older.
Yeah.
Live arm.
Here comes a 3-0 pitch, and that's a strike on the corner. So now that runs the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. And here comes a pitch, and that gets to the backstop. So
he walked him.
Hustling down to first base, and I think he was actually looking at maybe and going on to second. But hustling down was Dodson. So Champlin walks Dodson, and that's going to bring to the plate Lincoln Thomas.
Strikeout, walked and scored a run in the 4th, and had a base hit in the 5th.
So he's accounted for 1 of the Marauders' 6 runs. Here comes Lincoln Thomas. 2 outs. The Marauders scored 3. There's a ball out of play. The Marauders scored 3 runs in the 4th, I believe.
3 runs in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th,
and then
1 in the 5th.
Yep, that's right.
So there's 6.
So that's
they have 9 hits in the ball game. Galia Academy with 2.
Here comes the pitch from Champlin, and going on the play. Throw down to second, but in with a stolen base there was Dodson. Thomas, count even at 1-1. Picking up a stolen base there was Dodson. There's the 1-1 count coming. Champlin working from the stretch. Here comes the 1-1 offering, and a swing and a fouled off.
Bobby, it would be tough for this game to go past 7 innings. With this cloud cover, it's starting to get a little dark.
Well, that's what I was talking to some of the Megs faithful that had braved the elements, and they were sitting over there before the game, and I was teasing them. They actually thought the game started at 5, and they were here a little early, and they said, here comes a play at third, and in with another stolen base is Dodson. So Dodson, the pitch was high to Lincoln Thomas. So 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. So they had gotten here a little early, and they asked me what time the game started, and I told them 6:30. And one of the guys said, 6:30? You don't have any lights. I said, no, I'm just kidding. So here comes the pitch from Champ. That's the inside and low.
But you can
3.
see the difference the 5:30 start made. This will be in this to get 7 in. It'll be just about.
It's about right.
Right before it gets too dark.
Now, Rick, I don't know if you've ball hit foul.
Got to touch it, and he did. Good job there by Reese Toller.
I don't know if you've done a game here when the sun's been out, but it's a challenge for the right fielder because the sun is right at the hill length, coming over the school.
Right top of the school, huh?
And it is a challenge when there's a bright sunny day. Right field is a challenge.
Yeah, I've caught a few games down here.
I figured you
I know
had.
exactly what you mean.
It's difficult, but it's also difficult on a very cloudy day. I'll take the sun over a cool day any day. Champlin to the belt. Here comes the pitch, and that ball is swung on a miss, and that's going to be strike 3, a strikeout for Heath Champlin. So Champlin records a strikeout, his second of the inning, and Meigs comes away with no runs, 1 runner left on base, and we've now played 6.5. And your score is the Marauders 6 and the Blue Devils coming to bat for their final time, trailing in this one 6-1. You're listening to Blue Devil Sports on Total Media Sports.
YouTube.
Looking for your next vehicle? Come to Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your trusted dealership in Gallia, Ohio. Whether you're cruising the highways or tackling tough terrain, Braden has the perfect Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram for you. Visit us at 252 Upper River Road, Gallia, Ohio, or call 740-853-5668. Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, driving Gallia forward.
You're watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Galpolis.
Bob Hood along with Rick Ash back at the Bob Eastman Ball Field Complex, where the Blue Devils are trailing in this one 6-1, coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning, and barring a bunch of runs and a bunch of players coming to bat, this will be the final inning. And this will be the completion of this game.
I think if that would happen, Bobby, it would still be the end of the ball game.
It might be. It might be.
If Galia Academy has a big inning here and let's say ties it up, we may not be able to go to the top of the 8th.
You're right. And and one thing, thank you for bearing with, especially me. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm not. This is the first calling a live game that you're watching. And I think after every inning, I said you've been listening or you were listening to, and that's a traditional baseball outcast. And so thank you for watching here on Total Sports Media Sports, Total Media Sports. Thank you for watching us on YouTube.
Now, if you put Total Sports Media on my hat,
I'm gonna put Rick Ash. There's a pitch and popped up in the infield, and first baseman Braden Hawley hauls it in. So Conley out, retired there by Hawley. So you can follow games if you would just click on the app. You can see who's playing, and you can just go to that Total Media Sports app on your phone or on your computer. You'll find it there, and it will show you like even upcoming games. I looked at it even today.
Yeah.
So you can see who's next, and you might be able to watch some other games in our listening area. Here's the pitch, and that ball is laced. Now, a fair ball. No, foul ball. Sorry about that.
Well,
Right over
we're
the
in this
third base
position
line.
here along the third base line where it's difficult to tell.
It looked like it was over the line, but it's going to be
Corbin, not a bad spot at all, really.
Logan Kenny is the hitter.
Us old guys are against change, but this is not bad.
No, I've actually come to like it.
Yeah.
It really. Here's the pitch, grounded again to third. This time, picking it up is Fackler and throwing on over to Holly.
Nice throw there by Brody. Frozen rope all the way across the infield.
Blue Devils down to the last out. Maddox Delaney coming to the plate. Delaney is flied out to center in the third and drew a base on ball in the fifth. 0 for 1 plus a walk.
As soon as this game is over, I'll have the hitters for you. I've got them all marked up already, ready to go.
Here comes the first pitch. Outside ball 1-0. So, what will we do on the post game? Come back, just kind of a wrap up, or
We'll just do it right here.
we'll just do a wrap up
We'll
right
just stay right here and do her.
here. Okay. Put the coffee on. My wife put the coffee on. I'll be home. There's a ground ball. Now that can also sting off the foot
Yes.
of Coach Camden on a cold day like
Cold
this.
day.
Coach Camden made a nice.
He heard you.
Yeah, he did. He made a nice play down there. We'll give you a cheer there, Coach. Well, I tell you what, we won't get even an air. How would that be?
There we go.
Here comes the pitch. Ball's popped up behind the plate, and that's going to be to the backstop.
Oh, Jake Martin almost made the catch.
There's
Great effort there by Jake.
If you're familiar with the field here at Bob Eastman Complex, there's a concrete lower wall right at the screen, and Martin hit that concrete wall.
I think he hit it, though, with his shin guards.
He did, which is good. That's why catchers are protected.
He had it in his glove. It just popped out. That would have been a major league play right there. Great effort by Jake.
Maddox Delaney standing in. Delaney, where's number 1? He got hit by a pitch. So that's going to delay the inevitable for just a few more minutes as Delaney goes to first base. Nathan Shockey will now come to the plate. Shockey was the pitcher of record tonight, threw for 5 innings. And Davis to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Shockey back to the mound. Davis. And throws on over to Hawley, and that's going to record the final out of the game. And it's interesting. It was pitcher to pitcher there.
Davis goes the distance. We didn't think that either of the pitchers would go 7 innings, but Davis goes and gives up 2 hits. Winning pitcher, 6-1 over the Blue Devils tonight. For the Blue Devils, Tyler Young with a base hit, and Logan Drummond with the base hit. For the Megs Marauders, Bryce Butcher with 2 base hits, Addison Whitlatch with 1, Jake Martin with 1, Braden Holly with 2, Isaiah Arms with 1, Chase Dodson with 1, and Lincoln Thomas with 1. And the Marauders winning here tonight, 6-1.
And I think the outstanding play, and you mentioned it, I think as the takeaway from this game is the pitching of Brady Davis. Just an outstanding pitching performance.
I just gave up 2 hits.
And he started off with 1, 2, 3. Well, he started off retiring the first 9 batters.
Mm-hmm.
So quite a pitching performance there by Brady Davis. Rick, I appreciate you coming down. I appreciate you doing the game. For Rick Ash, this is Bob Hood. It's been a great evening here at the Bob Eastman Complex. Your final, once again, is the Megs Marauders defeating the Galia Academy Blue Devils 6-1 here at the Bob Eastman Field. We want to thank all of our people who made this possible. And good night, everyone. Drive safely, stay safe, and protect you and your household. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for watching Galia Academy Sports, presented by Braden Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Gallipolis.